mind.
The change that you desire is here. A movement that elevates the youth to a new height.
Introducing a groundbreaking initiative.
It is time for Youth Moments.
Join us for a transformative experience with Professor Uzoma Foundation for Justice and Equity, led by the visionary Professor Protus Nathan Uzoma.
Youth Moments, a refreshing, enlightening program
dedicated to empowering emo youths, advocating for their rights and steering them away from destructive paths.
Say no to cultism, violence, and drug abuse.
And say yes to responsibility and productivity.
Join Youth Moments every Saturday at 11 a.m.
right here on Boss Radio 98.9 FM, Owerri.
Youth Moment, taking emo youth to the next level.
Don't miss out. Tune in and be part of the change.
Youth Moment, where the future begins.
Dear listener, you are welcome once again to another edition of Youth Moment, the program aimed at the empowerment of Nigerian youths and as well as fighting for their rights and against the infringement of their fundamental human rights. Of course, the program, you know, is brought to you compliments of Prof. Uzoma Foundation for Justice and Equity, in collaboration with Nwosu and Co. Law Chambers. I am Salvatore Amadi, the querist on radio, with Prof. Nathan Uzoma, of course, radiating from Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri. This edition is prehistoric in the sense that it is the first time it is coming to you live and not recorded. And so you are part of the history making at Boss Radio with this youth orientation program. Prof. Uzoma, you are welcome to the maiden live edition of the program.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in.
And of course, dear listeners, this is not just coming to you live out of the blue. It is in response to so many calls from youths out there in their reactions to previous programs, urging us to go live and interactive with them so that they can share their views, make their complaints, and file their reactions or whatever petitions they have against all sorts of maltreatment by the system against the Nigerian youths. So, Prof, I would want to open up this maiden edition by asking you, what have the reactions been since the last edition of this program?
Well, I must say that people have been calling in, and particularly the last edition that generated lots of interest. People have been calling in and have been asking questions. How do we get in touch with the people we are trying to reach? In fact, a particular caller said his son was picked, a young boy, somewhere, that the police got him and he sent him to an errand and he was picked, and the boy called him, and there were others that were also picked. It has been, in fact, the calls have been centered on police brutality, police misconduct. It has generally been centered on that against the youths. And in fact, it was one of the last callers that actually made me to, because he said, please try and make this program live so that we can call in and people will hear our own version or perspective to the story. So that's why I decided that we should go live for the first time. So it's been reactions based on police misconducts, police negative attitude to us. But I must say, like I said to one person who called me, I said to him that, you see, you don't give tomorrow what belongs to today. The society we live in has created certain conditions that have given rise to so many actions that are abnormal, in quotes. You know, some people don't actually subscribe to the view that the police are not doing truly their job. And to an extent, let me tell you, it's just like the teeth and the tongue. They are housed together, and you can't separate two of them. Sometimes they quarrel. Sometimes they misunderstand themselves. When you chew, your teeth can bite your tongue. That does not actually mean that they don't coexist together. I've always looked at it from the sociological perspective, and I've come to the profound understanding that Nigerian police, actually, let me say this, I'm not justifying their unlawful actions, but let me tell you, if Nigerian police decides to go on strike for one day, it happened sometime in Nigeria, and you saw what happened that day. I mean, criminals were let loose. So they are actually doing their jobs. But the point is, like, I'm doing a recent work that is centered on public perception of Nigerian police. You know, I've written good number of works on Nigerian police, about Nigerian police. And in fact, the recent work that I'm doing now, research work, is the public perception of Nigerian police. How do the public perceive the police? And their perception is based on their experience, or what I call existential facts. Facts that are accessible, facts that are visible, facts that are that people have actually experienced. So far, I think there is need for reformation. There is need for proper orientation of the Nigerian police. There is need for that cordial relationship, so that people would not see the Nigerian police as demons. They are also human beings, with blood flowing in them. But there are also the bad eggs. There are the bad ones. So we don't expect to have saints in the midst of so every Nigerian police is a saint. It's not possible. It's just like saying that when you come to your family and our individual families, everybody is not a saint. So there must be someone that must go, maybe probably contrary to certain rules that guides the family, whatever. So that's my take for now.
Dear listener, of course, you can follow us on Youth Moment via Philosophy of Life discussions. We are live, and that means you can also phone in via 0909 222 9922. I repeat, 0909 222 9922 or 091 226 77989. That is 0912 267 7989. The WhatsApp line is 0806 999 2999. Now, Prof, as one was just passing through this road that Boss Radio is on, nearby, as a matter of fact, between Orient FM and NTA, one saw the usual menace of officers, of course, doing the usual thing, and you know what that means with commercial drivers. And one began to ask, when will all this end? Even in places where these police officers are supposed to know that high-profile government officials and even colleagues in the force who may be working with the X squad that's supposed to be monitoring them against such bad habits or actions that they are taking. One is at a loss as to how these officers do not realize that, look, somebody somewhere can catch me doing this. What is it that is driving them to continue in this direction with all the complaints? Even in some cases, you have cases of video recordings that are reported to media houses, and you have calls on a daily basis from different radio stations.
Are you talking of extortion?
You are quite correct. I am talking of extortion, and you know.
Or public offering. Which one?
I wouldn't want to call it public offering. That's a euphemism. It's too euphemistic. We have to be, very, very direct to the point. The point. That's what they call it, a public offering. But it's not at one's volition. It is extortion.
Sometimes it's not at one's volition.
It is clear-cut armed robbery, if you asked me.
Let me tell you something. The truth of the matter is that you see, I find it difficult to discuss this because, number one, it has to do with human nature, which is very complex because every human being has an element of criminality in him. Dealing with police extortion is something that has taken the different dimension in the survival of Nigerian police. Recently, the federal government, I think under Owerri, announced the new salary for the Nigerian police. And the question is, has it been implemented? The answer is no. Now, let's face facts. I'm not justifying police extortion, but what I'm trying to say is that if a police inspector, for instance, or a police corporal or sergeant receives about 50,000 or 40,000 at the end of the month, my brother, go to the market with 20,000 to prepare just a pot of soup. Maybe with a family of 5, the children must go to school. He must pay NEPA bills and other necessary domestic expenses. The question, therefore, is, can 40,000 naira or 50,000 naira, is it enough for an ordinary police corporal or sergeant? The answer as of today is no. So it is because the society has created these ills. That is why some of them take undue advantage of their condition to extort money from the public. Now, and of course, senior police officers have always frowned at that. And of course, it's on record that some police officers who have been found guilty or wanton in this regard have been dismissed. So, Roger me is a common slogan, and when you see the police, you must Roger. Like someone once said, if police comes to your house, you must give him cola. If you go to his house, you must give him cola. So it has become a custom. It has become a culture. How do we get out of this? Let me tell you, the only way to get out of it is application of the principles of job maintenance. You must make the environment conducive for these men who are in the same labor market with us, where we have competition, who go to the same supermarkets, who go everywhere. I mean, my brother, check it out. I'm not justifying that extortion, but what I'm saying is that their working condition is terrible. It's very, very terrible. That's why when you see me, sometimes when I drive out, I see them. Each time I see any policeman on duty, I stop. And whatever thing I have, I appreciate them. At night, we'll be sleeping. They will be awake. I was traveling to Uyo through Port Harcourt one day. You know what I saw? That I got I passed Eleme late. That was early last year. Do you know that I saw at about 11 p.m. policemen were on the road standing, and oh my goodness, these men are doing a lot of jobs. I'm just telling you the truth. That does not mean we should justify that act of extortion. Some of them, in fact, I've given a policeman money one day. He said to me, "So, sir, this money is for what?" I said, "I just want to appreciate you." Some of them don't ask the reason for the money. They put it in their pocket. Some simply appreciate you. But the central point here is that the way and manner some policemen who are too zealous in fishing out criminals that are not criminals indeed in the midst of the youths, trying to humiliate them, trying to extort money from them. In fact, a lady called me, a lady that does POA. He said, "Do you know how many times they have police brought some people to she alleged that some policemen brought some people into her POS shop to collect money." He said there was a particular occasion. He said the boy was having 100 and something thousand. He said the charge for this is 5. He said for 5. He said yes, collect everything, and they collected everything, and the boy was crying. You know, so it calls for serious concern. We should be able to separate the Epicureans from the Epicurus in the midst of the Nigerian police.
Prof, now what is critical here is the perception of the police force by the youths. Now, the youths who fall victim, as in the case we just narrated, will be having a very difficult task, thinking of policemen as being their friends, that's one, and then perceiving policemen as setting the right example for the youth to copy, to emulate. And that is where the problem lies. Now, we are aware of, for instance, what happened, and that has to do with corruption. Now, you were talking about a while ago their problems and the poor salary. It's the same excuse I was given by a former PPRO in Imo State here when I challenged him on why his men were committing armed robbery, because that's what I classify it.
Why do you call it armed robbery?
Because they are armed. If they were not armed, they wouldn't have the audacity, the effrontery to be challenging this.
I have seen policemen that were not armed and they still collect money. Some carry stick and collect money. It is in their blood to collect money. Just as, let me tell you, the corruption is everywhere. Let us just not center it on police. The angle that should concerns the foundation, Professor Uzoma Foundation for Justice and Equity, is separating the id from the ego. What do I mean? There are bad ones in the society, and the police have not been able to go. Probably some Nigerian police may not have been able to go after those bad eggs that are just that are practicing the high-tech crime. But they look at these boys who just enter into the street and also at the lower level do what they want to do, and they extort them, because this is, how do you say it, kettle calling pot black. Now, you are a policeman, you caught someone, and maybe a boy who is into cybercrime, Yahoo as it's called, and you extort money from him. Have you not also committed crime? The person you caught has committed crime. You collecting money from him, you've also committed crime. So how do you balance that? The society is responsible. Let's face the fact. The society is responsible. If you want to get to the root of this issue, I keep saying the salaries of Nigerian police should be increased. That is the truth, because everything has gone haywire economically. Go to the markets, go to supermarkets. What you used to buy 10,000 naira before is how much is a bag of rice? A bag of rice now is almost sold for 55,000 naira, and that could be the salary of an inspector of police.
Prof, at this juncture, it will be quite fair enough to point attention at the reality on ground in this country. If you asked me, one would say that all this is hinged on corruption.
That's true.
That is not attacked appropriately.
Correct.
Now, we were all witnesses to the case of embezzlement of billions of naira belonging to police officers, a retirement fund.
That's true.
By an inspector general of police.
That's correct.
And at the end of the day, what did we see? What did we get from that situation? He only ended up, it was like a pat on the back. If a plea bargain was struck. And where is he today? Walking freely on the streets with the billions gone. So
with that, how do you expect the junior police officers to behave?
So
it's a bad example.
Good. So where we're going with this is, it is the systemic corruption. Because without that corruption, without that corrupt inspector general of police embezzling billions meant for officers, they would have enough money to run the police force effectively, at least in one zone.
That's true.
So the point is, the youths are not getting a good example from these people. And now the question is, when these people, in most cases, are armed, and they know it's because they are armed, they begin to wreak all this havoc and cause intimidation and all that, arm twisting. That is why they're doing what they're doing. And that is what is actually making some Nigerian youths not live up to what may say or call expectation when it comes to fighting for their own rights and having to depend on foundations like yours to come to their rescue. What I'm trying to say here now is, for example, you had a case in DR Congo where there was rigging of election by, involving the chairman of the electoral body in Congo. And youths in that country went after that chairman and dealt with that chairman of the Electoral Commission. Now,
so are you saying that the same should be applied here?
I'm only asking a question.
Okay, what is your question?
The question is, do you not think it is because the level of intimidation, because they are working with the force of arms, is responsible for what is going on in the Nigerian
I have just given you a clear example. An offender persecuting an offender. You are a policeman on uniform. You caught a criminal and he wants to settle you. Oga, make we settle this matter here. I don't want to go to the police station. Because if he gets to the police station, he may, at the end, settle your superior. And the matter will die there. So the policeman will say, oh, what am I going, okay, how much do you have here? I only have 200,000. Bring them like that. That ends the matter. That is exactly what the society has given birth to. This corruption, let me tell you, it's not only in Nigerian police, it is in the military. It is in every ministry. We saw what happened recently with, and the investigation is still going on. Well, there is corruption everywhere. There is corruption everywhere. But what I'm trying to say is that Nigerian police here in the state should be able to abide by the principles of human empathy in terms of dealing with Nigerian youths. That's my plea, because the calls, the intimidations, they are so much. The intimidation is becoming so much, and the youths are just complaining. They are complaining. So there is need for a good working relationship between Nigerian youths and Nigerian police, so that these guys will also have their ways. Some of them, it's not every Nigerian youth that is corrupt. It's not every Nigerian youth that is a criminal. So also, it's not every Nigerian police that is corrupt. It's not also every Nigerian police that is involved in this extortion. I'm telling you, I know of a friend, a senior officer of Nigerian police, that up to today he has not been able to build 2 rooms. I'm telling you, if I tell you his rank, you'll be surprised. He doesn't collect bribe. He doesn't give bribe. So there are some good ones in the Nigerian police force. That is the truth. So I feel that it is necessary for us to really create what we are going to do very soon. What my foundation is going to do is we're going to run a seminar with Nigerian police and Imo youths, so that we'll be able to bring them together. Let us actually, so there is need for proper education. Some youths will just see police coming to, they will run away simply because they don't want to be embarrassed. Sometimes they pick their phones and go through their phones, and then, like I said last week, by that they will also, some have discovered criminals by that means. Some have also discovered some Yahoo boys and done their backyard settlements and all that. And these boys will settle and still come back to complain. You have access to Nigerian senior police public relations officer. His numbers are available. Call him. Approach the police, the commissioner of police. He's reachable. The present commissioner of police is accessible. So you relate with them, and you'll be able to see that some of these complaints, you find out that he will handle them properly.
Well, I can tell you that a good number of Nigerian youths don't believe in this position you have taken on this matter, because they have their practical one-on-one experiences with these officers. Dear listener, you are listening to Youth Moment, coming to you from Boss 98.9 FM. And of course, we have somebody who wants to make an input here. And the statement here is, now, how did things degenerate to this level where an average Nigerian does not have hope of getting a job? How is that when you beat a child, you stop him from crying? The youth see that their future is not guaranteed unless they join politics. Why is almost everyone a suspect? In real sense, is government doing anything to keep the youths busy? A worker who is paid 50,000 naira will definitely look for a way to survive. The youths and finding ways to feel belonged. There are no jobs, no factories and industries to engage the teeming youths. How can a first-class graduate be riding keke bus, bikes just to eat? Currently, the government is demolishing the properties of people in Centenary Estate. If someone earned money and government did such to his investment, what should be done? What should he do? The government and police are working hand in hand to frustrate the youths. And this is coming from Obi Martin Chuks from Federal University of Technology here in Owerri, Imo State. Dear listener, we have somehow come to the last few seconds of this program all of a sudden. It has been our pleasure bringing it to you live. If you want to get in touch with Professor Uzoma Foundation for Justice and Equity, you can do that via 0810-818-8047. I repeat, 0810-818-8047. And of course, you can locate the office at number 38 MCC Road, Owerri, Imo State. They have senior advocates there, they have lawyers there that can help to solve your problems if they involve litigation. I am Salvatore Amadi, the querist on radio, with Professor Protus Nathan Uzoma, the founder of Professor Uzoma Foundation for Justice and Equity. We're happy to have brought this to you today, Saturday, the 20th of January 2024. Prof, it has been a pleasure going live for the first time with you on this program.
Oh yeah, some days are like that.
All right, for you listeners out there, this has come to you, of course, via Boss Radio 98.9 FM Owerri. We thank Praise, who has been on the buttons left, right, and center, getting things working in the right direction. Praise, we're grateful to you, and we thank everybody for making this possible today. Remember, you can join us on Facebook, Youth Moment, via Philosophy of Life discussions. Till next edition, God bless you.
We don't play by the rules. We create them. Boss Radio, 98.9 FM. Owerri.